Welcome to the comfy zone. Make yourself at home.
Hey everyone, I can't keep this to myself any longer. I recently had an experience that has left me shaken to the core, and I don't know where else to turn. I was a contestant on a popular game show, but what happened there was far from the glitz and glamour I expected. I need to share this with you, not only as a warning, but also to find out if anyone else has gone through something similar. A few weeks ago, I received a mysterious invitation to participate in a new reality game show called the Enigma Challenge. The offer seemed too good to pass up, an opportunity to win a massive cash prize while putting my skills to the test. The initial auditions were bizarre, to say the least. Instead of a studio, I was summoned to a desolate warehouse on the outskirts of town. The atmosphere was eerie, with flickering fluorescent lights casting long, haunting shadows on the stained concrete walls. When I arrived, I noticed other contestants milling about, each with a mix of curiosity and unease etched on their faces. We were instructed to sign waivers, agreeing to keep the show's details strictly confidential. No cameras were allowed, except for the ones provided by the production team themselves. Red flags should have been waving, but my desire for adventure and the allure of the prize clouded my judgment. The game show host, a tall and enigmatic figure named Mr. X, emerged from the shadows, his voice carrying an air of both charm and malice. He explained the rules with a twisted smile, his piercing eyes making me feel like he was peering into my very soul. The objective was simple: solve a series of mind-bending riddles and puzzles to advance through each level of the game. Seems like your typical game show, right? Oh, how wrong I was. As the challenges progressed, something sinister lingered in the background. It started with strange occurrences during the breaks between filming. Contestants would disappear momentarily, only to return with vacant stares and whispers of things that couldn't possibly be true. Each time, they were silenced by the show's crew, and their stories were dismissed as mere exhaustion or stress-induced hallucinations. But then, things escalated. I remember one specific night, a foggy haze of sleep deprivation and adrenaline. I had made it to the final round, my heart pounding in my chest as I entered a dimly lit chamber filled with an eerie silence. The air felt heavy, suffocating, as if unseen eyes were watching my every move. The riddles grew more cryptic, bordering on the macabre, and the pressure to solve them mounted with each passing moment. That's when it happened. A contestant, her face contorted in terror, suddenly vanished before our eyes. The screams echoed through the chamber, freezing us in place. But the crew acted as if nothing had occurred. They carried on as if the young woman had never existed, erasing her presence from the very fabric of reality. Terrified and shaken, I managed to escape that night, my mind plagued with questions and disbelief. However, the horrors didn't end there. In the days that followed, a sinister transformation began to consume me. It started with an unshakable feeling of being watched, even within the confines of my own home. Shadows danced in the periphery of my vision, whispering secrets that I couldn't comprehend. Nightmares plagued my sleep, vivid and terrifying. I found myself trapped within the game show's twisted challenges, racing against an unseen foe, my mind fracturing under the weight of riddles that defied logic. Each morning, I woke up in a cold sweat, my body bearing bruises and scratches that I couldn't explain. But the worst part was the crew's relentless pursuit. They haunted my every waking moment, their presence like a persistent nightmare. Phone calls came at all hours, with distorted voices urging me to return to the show, promising fame and fortune beyond imagination. I could hear their sickening laughter in the background, a chilling reminder of the horrors that awaited me should I dare to refuse. No matter how hard I tried to resist, their influence grew stronger. They infiltrated my dreams, twisting them into macabre scenarios that left me paralyzed with fear. In a desperate attempt to escape their clutches, I isolated myself from the outside world, but their reach extended far beyond what I could comprehend. But it wasn't enough to simply haunt me. They demanded my participation once again, dragging me back into their sadistic game. The challenges intensified, crossing boundaries that should never be crossed. They toyed with my sanity, pushing me to the brink of madness with puzzles that seemed impossible to solve. Each failure brought punishment, both physical and psychological. The show's crew reveled in my torment, their sinister glee evident in their malevolent smiles and soulless eyes. Their faces twisted into grotesque masks as they cheered and jeered at my suffering. It was as if they fed on the pain and despair that permeated the air, relishing in their role as puppeteers in this sickening spectacle. Time ceased to have meaning within the confines of the Enigma challenge. Days blended into nights as the relentless cycle of puzzles and punishments continued. I lost track of who I was, my identity unraveling thread by thread. The line between reality and the show's twisted game blurred until I could no longer discern one from the other. In the depths of that twisted game show, my mind became a battlefield of fear and desperation. The challenges grew increasingly sadistic, targeting my deepest fears and exploiting them with merciless precision. Every step I took, every decision I made, seemed to be manipulated by the unseen forces that orchestrated this nightmare. The set itself was a haunting labyrinth of shifting corridors and deceptive illusions. Hallways stretched into infinity, leading me deeper into a maze of uncertainty. The air was thick with an oppressive atmosphere, suffocating my senses and distorting my perception of reality. Faces of the previous contestants haunted the walls, their eyes filled with anguish and despair. But it wasn't just the physical trials that tormented me. The psychological torment was far worse. The host, Mr. X, with his unnaturally wide smile and piercing gaze, reveled in my suffering. He delighted in toying with my mind, presenting me with impossible choices, forcing me to confront my darkest secrets and fears. As the game progressed, the boundaries between life and death blurred. I witnessed contestants subjected to horrors beyond imagination, trapped in nightmarish scenarios that twisted their souls and shredded their sanity. The show's crew reveled in their pain, feeding on the anguish like parasites, their sadistic laughter echoing through the corridors. But it wasn't just the other contestants who suffered. The crew turned their attention to me, subjecting me to a relentless onslaught of psychological torment. They delved into the depths of my psyche, unearthing buried traumas and fears I had long forgotten. They whispered chilling secrets that sent shivers down my spine, their voices clawing at the edges of my sanity. The more I resisted, the more they tightened their grip. They seemed to know my every move, anticipating my thoughts before they formed. Their methods became increasingly invasive, invading my personal space, infiltrating my dreams, and manipulating my loved ones against me. It was as if they had a window into my very soul, exploiting my vulnerabilities with ruthless efficiency. Each passing day, I could feel myself slipping further into the clutches of the Enigma challenge. The game show had become a prison, a distorted reality from which there seemed to be no escape. The very essence of who I once was crumbling away, replaced by a hollow shell filled with despair and resignation. As I share this haunting tale, I implore you, reader, to heed my words. Do not fall prey to the allure of fame and fortune at the expense of your well-being. Trust not the promises of a game show that thrives on human suffering. Beware the insidious powers that seek to claim your mind, body, and soul. I fear my own fate is sealed within the clutches of this nightmarish realm, and the end draws near. But if my story can serve as a warning to even a single soul, then perhaps some glimmer of purpose remains amidst the darkness. Remember, once you step into the realm of the Enigma challenge, there may be no way back.